Call to order Buhl City Council meeting, Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. Mr. Jeffries, would you please take the roll?
Councillor Hadrava.
Here.
Councillor Keeley.
Here.
Councillor Loeffler.
Here.
Councillor Towner.
Here.
Mayor Carter.
Here.
All here, quorum present, we may conduct business.
Thank you, sir. I'd ask everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Mr. Jeffries, do we have any changes to the agenda as presented?
We do not.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll motion.
Thank you. We have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Agenda is approved. Moving on to reports from department heads.
Thank you. Engineer Jamnik sends his apologies. He intended to be here and he cannot. He'll see you at next meeting. Otherwise, I just have a very, very short report, which is number one, it's really cold out, we all know that, so stay warm, stay safe, and if you see anybody that needs help, go help them. That'd be great. A reminder, we are looking for some election judges for the year, but the first need is for March for the presidential primary, so if anybody would like, come sign up at City Hall. We would like to have 4 or 5 of them ultimately. Also, I'll just say for those of you who are not certain yet, we apologize that the video for the last meeting that we had got corrupted. The file got corrupted and that video is not available and cannot be restored. So sorry we don't have that meeting on video from January 2nd. That's all that I have, Mayor Carter.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Moving on to Citizens Forum.
Mayor Carter, it appears we have 2 individuals who have signed up that'd like to participate this evening, and the first is Mark Lamorier.
I'll get a few things here.
The floor is yours, sir.
I'd like to have you guys look at these.
Switch.
That's the water out of my faucet at my house.
I've noticed 2.5 weeks ago. This was today.
I'm sorry today.
I've noticed when we have a white tub and when we've ran a tub, it's not all the time. I see discoloration too, but it's not that extreme.
It's been like that since I moved here.
Since you moved here?
They keep telling me something's stuck in my line, making it discolored. I flushed my lines for 15 minutes, like they told me to.
Mm-hmm.
City guys came and flushed the hydrants for 15 minutes. And that's what I got the second bucket. The lighter one.
Mr. Jeffries, have you received any other complaints about the water in town?
This is the first I've heard of this from the
Okay.
Lamoriers, as well as the first that anybody's brought up individually.
Okay.
I did hear something to the effect that there was some light staining at a time after something had been maintained. And what I recall hearing is that went away, flushing it went away, so.
Yeah, and like I said, mine at my house has done it, especially after that water tower
Right,
inspection and stuff, but
right.
this has been like this since you moved here, sir?
Yes. Woodbridge Avenue is dead-end lines, you know, because when I had that house built, the architect said, you gotta do something because there's a dead-end line. I said, there's no bacteria coming from that water system, it's bacteria-free. And I haven't had any water issues. My water is clear, and that's to the end of that dead end on Woodbridge.
Since we built the house, we've had in both toilets, we've had a ring come around the toilet within a few days.
With that,
Color of that darker stuff.
that orangish.
You take a cloth or toilet paper and it wipes right off. It's like a scum. So I took one of them buckets and I let it sit for a week or so. We dumped the water out of it, and that bottom of that bucket was full of that scum. It would not come out with the water. We had to wipe it out with a rag. No,
Just,
so what are we?
just trying to pull up a map here. Do you know, we'd have to talk with Trent about it. Do you know if is your home fed off of a dead end line?
No, it's right on Monmouth Street.
That's what it looks like to me.
I don't know. The line goes all the way down the block.
And the guy,
From the old shortstop all the way down the block.
Does your neighbors have the same issue, do you know?
I don't
Well, I'm
know.
not far from you. I'm at the end of Woodbridge there, and I'm not seeing it in my water.
Maybe you're on a different line, I don't know. It's irrelevant, I'm seeing it in my water, I don't care, give me your water and I'll be happy.
I'm on a dead-end line. I am on a dead-end line.
Are you gonna talk?
I can.
so, the city guys have been out there to flush the hydrants for that?
They did flush it.
Okay. And nothing,
15
that,
minutes one day and we
Okay.
got it a little better, like I say, but it's still that. You know, Trent tells me, oh, ain't gonna hurt ya, da-da-da-da-da, but do you wanna drink that crap?
no, I wouldn't want it in my bathtub either,
Or to wash clothes with it.
or wash clothes with it.
Yeah.
Not when you should be having the finest water in America coming out of your tap.
Yeah, I was kinda looking at that today, that sign on the tank.
Well, it's there, it's just, we gotta figure out what the issue is with it.
Has his line been checked from the street line to the house?
So brand new.
What year did that house go in?
Pardon?
What year did your house go in?
2021.
21? Yeah, so you shouldn't be seeing anything like that out of a brand new house.
I figured
Unless,
it'd go away after a while, but
unless something happened to the line.
Yeah,
you know, that's what everybody says, oh, it's gotta be the line to your house. It's all brand new.
Well,
yeah.
How can it be?
something could have
You know,
happened.
that everybody tries to pass it off onto the homeowner. Oh, it's gotta be your line. How do you know? Nobody knows where it's coming from, what it's doing. I mean, obviously it didn't do any good to clean the tank and flush the tank and everything else.
Mhm.
I mean, you look at all the pictures of the tank and stuff, it's nothing but rust inside it.
Well, if it was an issue with the tank, everybody's water would look like that, and I can tell you mine does not.
Mayor Carter?
Yes.
I have a suggestion perhaps. Perhaps we could get a sample of the Lemorier's water and just send it out for an assay for chemical analysis to determine what it is we're looking at. I got kind of an idea, but I'm not gonna say. And then after we find out what it is, we might be able to have a better plan of action.
Okay, then we'll have some conversations with the guys too about it. Excellent.
So I guess then if that's kind of the persuasion of everybody, we would need council action at some point this evening authorizing that to happen.
Just make a motion to indicate what,
Under other business?
you know, it's on the consent forum since you brought it up, and
Hmm.
I think it's appropriate that you can address it tonight.
So make a motion under citizens forum.
Yeah,
Sure.
Oh.
Mr. Lemorier's request.
Okay, excellent.
Would you be okay if somebody came and grabbed samples from your house taps?
Yeah, I can I got a bucket of water at home, they can take it out.
They'll have their own vessels and they'll be sterilized and, there's a little protocol for that so that the chemical results are not tainted in any way.
You might wanna consider too, because it's a winter like this and that, to provide him a filtration system for his water to his house, so that you can get in the spring when it's warmer and dig it up if it is a line issue, what I'm saying.
What's the nearest point
See, I can't
to,
see where it's a line issue, mine's all PVC.
Well, you could have a small crack on a line that is soil around there, comes in there.
Are you an expert on this or what? Or are you just a neighbor?
I was trained under George Pollock for plumbing,
I don't
and
care.
I've seen copper lines crack.
It's
They
not
crack
copper.
where they, well, the water lines are typically copper in a lot of homes.
It's PVC, that's what you gotta
Well,
use nowadays.
just because it's PVC doesn't mean it can't crack. It could be defective PVC.
Well, I think Mr. Jeffrey's right, we have to determine what exactly, probably the easiest way, determine what's in the water, and then you can find out the source a lot easier.
So you know what you're looking for.
Yeah. So I mean, if it's,
Rust
I don't know,
or-
I'm not a, by
whatever.
any means an expert at it,
Yeah.
but if you know what's discoloring it, then you have a better idea where to look.
what's the nearest access we have to the city's portion of the line towards
You should
the
be at the
south side?
street, you should be able to access it at
Could we get a test
I think
sample from that?
each
point
house.
too?
Could you?
Well, I think what we should do is we should talk with Trent about it, first of all. And if council's, if that's council's will, do a water test, then we can figure out what's in it. Talk with Trent and figure out a plan moving forward. Does that work for you? Okay.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's the best way to go, I mean, you don't know what's in there,
Yeah,
you know.
well, and
I
then,
put a water softener in, and the lines going to my water softener are the PVC, clear.
mhm,
They're the color of that darker bucket right now.
stained from
The
it.
water's coming in my house. You can look at the lines and see that rusty.
Through that clear PEX material.
Right.
Gotcha.
Now my water softener's quit working right, so I don't know if that stuff's screwing up the water softener because it's not made to take care of it, I don't know. And I just put that in this year.
Well, first, council, can I get a motion to do a water test at Mr. Lamoria's home?
Yeah, no motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any comment on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alright, we'll get you your water test, sir. And then Mr. Jeffries, anything you can do to accommodate to help that process along, feel free to contact Mr. Jeffries and we'll figure out what the heck's going on here
Absolutely.
as soon as possible.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you, appreciate it.
When we,
Thank you. Next up, we have Robert Bassing.
Hello, sir, the floor is yours.
Okay, so, not saying that the council is doing this, but I've heard rumors. And to have a good government and have clarity in government, it's always good to know that funds that are dedicated for certain projects and that stay within that project, particularly if it's granted from another agency or the IRRB or anything like that. The other thing I would like to say is that a lot of times the short-term thinking about saving money on a project like a water tower, long-term it doesn't always turn out, especially in these times when we have high inflation, high government debt, currency could collapse, you could see a project that could just balloon up in the future. So it's pretty much the best idea is to fix something for long term. So spend the money long term, get that tower fixed. the way it should be fixed, instead of putting a Band-Aid on it. That's the other thing I was to mention. And if you ever notice that the demographics is changing as far as housing. So what I mean by that is, as people enter their later ages, they're looking for something they can afford. A lot of people are moving out of Virginia, they're putting their houses up for sale because of the property taxes. And so, the way that it was built early was small lots. Yeah? So then people have a house and then they take over a lot and then they have more property. But that doesn't yield a tax base and it doesn't provide an opportunity to build a home in there that's affordable. Now I went on there and I said, what is the typical price of these 40-foot by 15 one-bedroom home-like mobile homes? You know, they look just like a home. Got the regular siding, the regular roof and all that. They don't look like a mobile home. And they run between 50 and 100,000. Now if you put that against other types of housing, that's pretty reasonable. It can be put in these lots where houses are torn down or they're burnt down and they're small lots and they're narrow, so they're not real close to the next house. So I would suggest that the council just think about this and consider changing the building code so that some of the narrow lots can be converted to these home-style mobile homes that look like homes. And I think their tax base is gonna be better having one of those on there than having somebody have a little bit extra property, you know, on their property. So that's the suggestion I have, and, you know, keep government transparent and kind of keep your budgets so that people can have trust in their government. Okay, that's all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you. Next we have, would you identify your name and please, sir?
So I'm Nate from Essentia.
And would you please sign on the log there?
Yeah.
Thank you. And,
So I just wanted to come over tonight, touch
Okay.
base with you guys.
excuse me, what's your last name, Nate?
Siem,
Please spell.
S-I-E-M.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to come over, touch base with you guys, see if you had any questions, how things been going. I got some numbers here for you. Just kind of, it's a new year now. So last year we ran 190 911 calls in the city of Bill region. As a total service, we did 487 runs. So, you know, majority of them are in your facility. Our staffing has gotten really good. I just hired, I think, six new people last week. So our staffing should be almost full over here.
Awesome.
So that's awesome news, you know, so we should have full 2 trucks all the time here pretty much.
Great.
Yeah, so I guess I just wanted to touch base, see if you guys have any questions for me.
How's the building over there accommodating for you?
Yeah, it's working out.
No
So,
issues?
Nothing major.
Okay,
no. So,
excellent.
paperwork.
Yeah, anything you need, come to City Hall, talk with Tony.
Okay, yeah, no problem. You guys got any questions? No? Good.
Council? No?
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
thanks.
Thank you. You have a good night.
That's it for the public forum.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, we need to address this water issue. At least determine where and what the issue is as soon as possible.
Mayor?
Yes,
I'd like
sir.
to ask a question since we have council here tonight. This water sample should probably run somewhere in the $250 to $300 range for chemical analysis. Can that vendor be selected by staff, or does that have to go out for?
No, you can just pick one.
We have at least 3 good labs in the area. They're all real comparable.
Okay, is that, what kind of time frame is on that?
Probably turn it around in a week or less,
Okay,
once the sample is collected and
Okay.
delivered to them.
If Trent or Pryor, City View has used somebody, I mean, I don't see any problem.
You'd probably go with.
Counselor Keeley?
That's who you'd probably go with, who you already have your testing done through.
Completely agreed. What if those folks are not local and it takes longer?
Well, then you have, Hibbing has one and so does Virginia, they have
Yeah.
Hayes, so both
Right.
of those are very close.
Right.
And I do think one of them is a little bit cheaper, so, because we're just dealing with it now ourselves, so. So, and then I'm reaching out while I'm listening, and it, sorry. It could be a rock rubbing against the PVC. And it also said the city side could have a break in it, maybe at the main. What are these new lines up there?
They should be, to a degree, they might be bordering on the older lines of the end of Wanless and then the beginning of Clink's Way, but we can find that on the
But
maps.
if nobody else is having it, I kind of agree with Trent, so, and the PVC can break.
It can, absolutely.
So, with everything coming up out of the ground, it could have just pushed wrong, rubbed wrong, and there's just that little break enough to put that dirt in there.
So that's what I would be curious about is it dirt? Is
Yeah.
it soil?
That's the next thing,
Yeah.
this test will let you know what it actually is.
Is it iron?
Yep.
That's, the word is it precipitated out, if you will. Now, we'll learn that, and that'll help us address.
Lots of variables there. Until that water test is done, then we can establish it.
Then you know which direction
And
to
Trent,
look.
I mean, Trent should know right off the top of his head if that's a dead end line that he's tied to or whatever it may be.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda, we have the minutes of the regular city council meeting, January 2nd, 2024. We have claims, payroll number 1, $13,814.87. Payroll 1.01, $920.13. Accounts payable, $165,608.38. For a total of $180,343.38. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion? Questions, comments? Do you have anything to add, Mr. Jeffries?
Thank you, Mayor Carter. I would like to point out that the AP is a little higher than usual, but part of that, 55,000, actually closer to 65,000 of it, is for payment of general obligation bond principal and interest for projects that were completed earlier in time for the benefit of the infrastructure of the city. So that should only be one time per year here, for that about extra $65,000.
Thank you, sir. Any further comment? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Thank you, everybody. Moving on to business. Item A, Resolution 24-12 for the city to accept a donation to the City of Buhl Public Library. The city has received an offer of donation related to operations at the Buhl Public Library. Donald Sells of Park Rapids, Minnesota has offered a donation of $1,000 in memory of Nancy Gorsha Most to the city as a financial contribution towards the library's collection of books, most notably mystery and historical books. Do we have a motion to authorize the city to accept a donation from Donald Sells in memory of Nancy Most in the amount of $1,000 for additions to the Buhl Public Library book collection, to execute Resolution 24-12 concerning the same, and to acknowledge this donation with appreciation?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. We have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sells. In memory of Nancy. Anything further, council? Being this a resolution, Mr. Jeffries, please take the roll.
Councilor Hadrava,
Yes.
Councilor Keely,
Yes.
Councilor Loeffler,
Yes.
Councilor Towner,
Yes.
Mayor Carter.
Yes.
Motion prevails and is so carried.
Thank you, sir. Item B, Resolution 24-13, authorizing the city to apply for a Community and Economic Development Associates Rural Capacity Program Grant. Mr. Jeffries, would you like to cover this?
Thank you, Mayor Carter. The Community and Economic Development Associates, otherwise known as CEDA, CEDA, works with cities, counties, organizations, and small businesses to help them be proactive and strategic about their development aspirations. CEDA was established in 1986 as a private 501c3 nonprofit organization, then called the Southeastern Minnesota Development Corporation. In 2010, the agency responded to strong interest in its services beyond the original service territory and changed its name to CEDA to reflect a commitment to all of rural America. CEDA presently serves regions of Minnesota, Iowa primarily in the northern part, and Wisconsin primarily in the western part. CEDA's current rural capacity program includes initiatives with potential grant funds available for eligible projects related to several economic development areas. Staff has identified a potential need regarding child care incentive programs and proposes applying for a rural capacity program grant to assist in exploring siting a child care facility in the community. This grant could be up to $15,000 plus 150 hours of technical assistance covered by their staff. And the way that they describe the child care incentive program area is ensure a brighter future for your youngest residents by supporting existing or new child care providers. Assist with licensure fees, continuing education, promote increased capacity and higher quality care. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffries. So just so I understand this myself, this funding, should the city of Buhl be successful in obtaining it, could be used by private parties for a startup for childcare?
Mayor Carter, I guess I couldn't speak to that specifically. I guess I was looking at it more in working with parties to communicate the interest, and then work with them to see what their needs would be if we have a location, and then what it would take to kind of get that going. I would think that CEDA here would be able to cover all of those. And if there are if there's a successful match, shall we say, if there are remaining funds in the grant, I would anticipate that this grant could be used for some of those startup fees as well.
Okay. So these would be funds for the city itself to work towards bringing in child care facilities to our community.
That is correct. Nobody's approached us, and there's no
Okay.
short list or nobody on a list. This is completely for the city to have the opportunity to develop this if we wish.
Okay. Well, I know there's a large need for that everywhere.
Couple of other
Did we have a motion and support?
We do not.
Apologies. Do we have a motion to authorize the administrator to make application to and accept funds through the Community and Economic Development Associates, CEDA, Rural Capacity Program for Buhl Child Care Facilities Initiatives?
No motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All right. Now discussion. Council.
Well, you're not wrong in saying there's a need for it in the area.
No, there's
There
definitely
definitely
a huge
is.
need.
So this would help somebody that already has a home start up a business? Is that what this would help with?
I think that's part of it, but it's not limited to that at all.
I mean, we don't really have available space for,
Well, that might be part of it, to work with available land, let's say.
okay.
I guess I'm not really honed in
Yeah.
at this point that tight on it. I will, if I may, I'll say this. First of all, CETA works with cities of 3,000 or less in population. And they had this rural capacity program has 5 general areas. And I think it might be valuable if I just name them. One is revolving loan funds. That's typically low interest gap financing for businesses that need it. I did not identify any real need in town for that at this point. Another is a community exterior improvement grants. That's kind of like, think about Main Street refurbishment type stuff. I also did not find that a good fit. Then business incubation programs, and that was for nurturing new business for rental subsidies or technical assistance or education. Again, no businesses at this point in town that I thought would be a good fit for that. Then there was the child care incentive program element, which I am the one, I'm suggesting that one. And the final one was business retention and expansion. I liked that one, however, that's for existing businesses that want to either not move away or get bigger. And of those 5, childcare seemed to be by far, to me, the best community interest at this time.
It's titled as a Rural Capacity Program Grant, correct? These are grant dollars.
That is correct. The organization recognizes there are many smaller communities that may not have, that have limited staff, limited budget, limited resources. And so they offer these economic development grants to assist.
Anything further?
So who, because we're so short-staffed here, who would take this on as a, like a managerial part of this?
At this point, Councilor Keeley, I guess I figured that would be me in part of economic development work.
Well, it seems this may tie in with our EDA, where a lot of things can get taken care of with that department, can't it?
I would think.
Okay.
Have they seen this?
No.
Are we jumping ahead of ourselves before they see it?
I did not think so.
Okay, just a question.
Yeah, no. I mean, when I looked at it, Councilor Keeley, there's no money from the city that I'm aware of at this point. Application and no commitment, actually, until down the road if something happens to come this way.
So this is just approval of application for grant dollars
Yes, sir.
for childcare facility initiatives.
Correct.
Anything further, council?
It's definitely a need, but
It is a need.
It's a need, but.
right.
Well,
I don't.
that's where-
And something's just not finishing here, so I'm not, but it's just a grant application.
That's all it is. Yeah, my thinking again was at this time, if somebody called us up and said, hey, Buell, we'd like to think about putting a childcare facility here, we'd say, great, have at it. That's about all we could give them. This might allow us to have a toolkit that could entice them or incite them to more seriously consider locating here.
Well, it's part of our growing. It'll be like green out on the highway.
Or by the park.
By the park.
All right, any further comment? Hearing none. Mr. Jeffries, being this a resolution, please take the roll.
Counselor Hadrava,
Yes.
Counselor Keeley,
Yes.
Counselor Loeffler,
Yes.
Counselor Towner,
Yes.
Mayor Carter.
Yes.
Motion prevails and is so carried.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to item C, consider filling Recreation Board member vacancies. The City of Buhl Recreation Commission currently has 5 vacancies as of January 1st. Available seats on that commission are to be filled for 3-year staggered terms, and the city has expressed a desire to fill all available positions. To date, expressions of interest have been received from 3 individuals, with 2 of these desiring a 3-year term and 1 expressing no preference toward a term length. Do we have a motion to appoint Colleen Port, Sheila Labarge, and Al Flashberger to serve on the City of Buhl Recreation Board with terms as follows? Colleen Port, 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2026. Sheila Labarge, 2-year term expiring December 31st, 2025. Al Flashberger, 1-year term expiring December 31st, 2024.
I'll motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll support.
Discussion. Randy, you want to offer up a quick explanation of?
Oh, so when the rec board restarted a few years ago, all the members were given the same length term. Normally when you start up a brand new one, it'd be staggered terms for just this reason, so not everybody comes up to it at the same time. So we're just staggering them now. So going forward, if, like Al, if he gets the 1 year and then after a year, if he applies again, it would be a 3-year. Everybody would be a 3-year after that, so it would always be staggered.
So this is just creating the stagger in so that everybody doesn't.
Is that correct, Mr.?
That is correct, Counselor Towner.
And also the question is, being that 2 of them asked for a 3-year term, there's not gonna be any question about why one was given the 3, why one was given the 2?
Well, honestly, originally I thought, Al would be like the best for a 3-year because he took over my term at the end of last year, so he's only been on there for so long. So, and my thoughts was it would make sense to give him the 3-year, but the way they worded their letter or letters, like Sheila says that she'd prefer 2 or 3-year term. Colleen says would prefer the 3-year, however, open to any available. And Al worded his no preference, so, and, they all seem flexible. So, hopefully nobody's upset with the way it's going, but again, it's just to get it set as a stagger and go from there.
And everybody's welcome to join in the meetings. I've attended a lot of rec board meetings and it's everybody's included.
So then, is there still then 2 seats available?
Yep. Yeah, 2 of the other members, they have too much on their schedule right now, so they didn't want to extend their term or yet.
So there's still 2 available seats for the rec board. All right. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Oh, but it's exciting.
It
They did a
is.
very good job, so.
Yes, very, very good job. Thank you to all the individuals involved. Anything further? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Colleen, Sheila, and Al. That's wonderful. Moving on to item D. Consider Club Mesabi request to host 2024 Great River Energy Mesabi Trail Bike Tour. Mr. Jeffries, would you like to take this?
Thank you, Mayor Carter. The city has been in contact and communication with Club Misabi and has received a request to consider hosting a portion of their 2024 Great River Energy Misabi Trail Bike Tour. The date has been set for August 10th, it's a Saturday, and would seek to highlight Buhl and its amenities to the approximately 700 riders who annually enjoy this event. There are some needs and desires of the event, including space for overnight tent camping and the use of a storm shelter if needed. They are considering many activities, including water sports activities, disc golf, and live entertainment. The event will be held at no cost to the city, with the exception of making facilities available to the riders and Club Misabi personnel. This is a highly family-oriented event, and the Recreation Board is invited to consider partnering with the tour should this be approved or accepted for potential youth activities. Couple other sidebars I would put on there is there are possibly some opportunities for very small revenue capture for us, the city, but they were not. It was not right to go down that conversation road yet. It was cart before the horse thing. And also, I will just say that for what it's worth, I've been involved in some of these bike tours in the past in the area, and they try to be like going to the Boundary Waters. Leave it better than you found it. Pack it in, pack it out. And the whole idea here would be to take a day to let these folks sit back, enjoy the community, go swimming, play some disc golf. They would bring in some live entertainment. What we would, again, the facilities are what we are primarily looking to be asked for. And I would suggest Burton Park for the camping area as well as the family event stuff. And then the curling club for the storm shelter, should it be needed. That would be completely weather dependent on that day.
Well, sorry, can we get a motion to approve hosting the 2024 Great River Energy Misabi Trail Bike Tour for Club Misabi on August 10th, 2024, and to work with Club Misabi to provide public facilities necessary for its success?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All right, discussion. This can bring business to our businesses. Obviously, the city, Mr. Jeffries stated the idea of capturing revenue from it. I mean, I don't even think that should be on the table. I think it should be more of a events for families to be a part of, possibly bringing business to our businesses.
I believe I could speak to that now a little bit. I guess primarily is consideration of maybe a nominal overnight camping fee, like $10. And the tour would handle that aspect of it on behalf of the city. And, you know, as a understanding that the city's got needs for setup and cleanup and what have you, just to help subsidize the cost of being a host. The tour is very comfortable with that.
Okay.
Yeah, was your
Will they
one.
require like satellites?
Yeah, that's
Is that
exactly what I was gonna say, you know,
talking about, that
bathroom
type of
facilities.
expense?
I think
Trash
satellites will be
receptacles.
at their expense.
And
But-
they can bring in like trailers of showers and.
Correct.
They bring their own things in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, what they'd be looking for us a little bit for is maybe it'd be kind of a good opportunity to put some 5-gallon machines of Buhl water out there for the people to consume when they get off the trail.
Would Burton Park be big enough for?
It seems like the most logical place
But,
now.
yeah, the only option, yeah.
700 is, they wouldn't all camp.
Okay.
I
'Cause I
understand
was like,
it's
oh,
usually
that
closer
was-
to a couple hundred.
Okay, that makes, because it was like
Then I think there's
700.
enough
I
room
was
there
like,
for
that's
that.
gonna be a lot.
That upper ball field would have been beautiful for camping.
I mean, yeah, if we had the whole area, that would be good.
Well,
Yeah.
and if the park wasn't enough, I was thinking that the skating rinks might be another area that could be utilized.
Right,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, it's all in the same area, so.
Right.
So as far as facilities go, that's the intent here is to utilize the park and possibly the skating rink area, all of that and that's just for one evening.
One evening,
And then for emergency storm shelter,
the curling
look at
club.
the community center.
Community center, yeah.
Yeah, community
Okay.
center, right.
And
And then
that's-
the live entertainment portion that was mentioned along with the family-oriented stuff, it would probably be like, 2 o'clock to 7, 8 o'clock, something like that, not an evening street dance type of thing.
Oh,
Well, you know, our
Are you disappointed?
local
Not at all.
establishments might do that, though.
They might,
They
I
still
wouldn't be
might.
surprised, yeah.
They might.
I believe, if I can editorialize, I was pleased to have them come and tap me on the shoulder, because I kind of dropped the hint last year a little bit when they had mentioned they would be at least passing through here this coming year.
so they the Great River Energy Masabi Trail tour series. What do they? What's their funding go for, Mr. Jeffries?
I'm sorry, would you ask that another way? I don't
Um,
quite understand.
Well, there's sponsorship rates in here,
Right.
Right.
Right,
So if one was to sponsor this, is it just? It's
It-
obviously not just for that bike ride.
in great, yes, it is, primarily for the bike ride.
Oh. I thought maybe it was an ALS style thing, or
Like there are donations to the organization. I would have to find that out
Okay,
more clearly. It's my understanding that if you are a sponsor, and that is part of the information I included because it was, relevant collateral. If you are a sponsor, they end up giving you passes for your employees to use the trail. I mean, the trail is a 4 feet trail, but it's on your honor system, right? So I certainly did not get into a conversation about what is your budget and
yeah.
how much is the entertainment cost, or what have you, how much do the showers cost.
It's kinda nice just being considered, really.
I think it is.
But any funds not spent on this is probably just going to the side of the trail and it's upkeep, I would assume. Because they give out the, like you said, the membership, or not membership, but the trail pass.
They give them trail passes, they're involved with the maps that are put together. The Masabi Trail maps, I think is what they call them.
Yeah.
Anything to promote, support, and maintain. Well, I shouldn't say maintain, that's more the Regional Railroad Authority, but promote and support the trail.
So this tour would start and stop in Buell.
On that day.
Awesome. Do they allow electric bikes?
I don't see why they would not.
Awesome. Well, that could be another great thing to do this summer. I don't know, I'm not much of a bike rider without a motor on it, but if my boy drags me along, maybe I'll go.
Well, it starts and stops in town, you just have to make it across town.
That's right.
Except on the uphill part.
Excellent. All right, we have a motion and a second. And this is just to provide the facilities on that date. That's the only commitment here for the city.
Yeah, I mean, they'll absolutely love it if we have a little staff that can work with it in, some areas. And again, my understanding right now is things like providing water along the way, that's not something that is necessarily in the tours wheelhouse. But definitely the showers are and food is, et cetera, et cetera. It's to provide the place and to get on the bandwagon with them.
Excellent. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further comment? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's carried. Lining up stuff to do this summer already. Great. Oh, we've reached other business. Do we have any other business?
We do not.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to councilors' comments. Council, the floor is yours.
Nothing for me tonight.
Nothing?
Neither.
We had a wonderful wine decorating thing last Sunday, or just past Sunday, which was wonderful. We had
several people that came. And then February 4th is a Sunday at 1 o'clock, we're doing cookie decorating at the senior center, which is what we have. So if you want to sign up with the Buhl Teen Center. I'm excited about this one too, so it'll be fun.
Nothing?
Nothing fun happening this weekend?
No extravagant trips?
There is a curling, yeah, there is a Bondsville downtown.
This
Come on-
weekend?
Yeah, come on downtown, there's a.
There is.
There is a Bondsville at the curling club this weekend. So if you're not doing
Man, the
anything, come
days
on
are getting
down,
away
have a
from me.
burger, watch some curling, it starts at 10. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's on Saturday?
It's Saturday,
Yep,
how
this
the
Saturday.
Hideaway is throwing it out. And then, I know that we're working with another Bondsville to raise money for EMTs. But that, I don't have a lot of, anything on, I just know that we're planning it, we're working with local EMTs to get a bunch of different towns coming over here, and all the money raised will go to our EMTs in
That's
the area.
excellent.
So, yeah, so that's what's going on down there for right now.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I just totally, as I've not been working on it for, how long here.
I guess it's my turn. For mayor's comments, I just wanted to touch on our climate. It's freezing cold outside, and there's a lot of people who struggle to make their heat bills and have a hard time getting through the cold season. I've been there myself. If you need help with those things, with utilities, if you're having a hard time making these payments, stop in at City Hall, see if staff there can point you in the right direction. There's a lot of resources for that kind of thing, and if you need help with it, don't be afraid to look for it. I mean, we've all been there, so just want to make sure everybody in town's got heat when it's cold out like this. Other than that, I have nothing further. So, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Oh. Anything further? Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting adjourned at 7:22.